Welcome to Two Broads and a Brit. It's not great, but it's entertaining. I'm Lynn Hartram, and I'm here with Caitlin Greer. Hi. And Lee Hazel.
Ew.
Hazelnut.
Hazelnuts.
She was very serious. She was very serious on that intro.
Right?
It was
Welcome to the evening news.
Yeah. It's hard hitting.
Starting story. And today we are joined by
I'm
Lulu.
Lulu, the little stinky dog that could.
Mm-hmm. So you may see an ear or part of her head or crazy eyeball.
Or you might hear some like flatulence.
It's not out of the question.
It's always good to see Lulu. Always good to see Lulu.
Always. She's
Yeah.
gonna chip in.
The only good thing is, I mean, basically, although I miss her, I can't smell Lulu's ass from here, which is marvellous.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure you could smell it if you tried real hard though.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Sad to say.
No.
Cute little dog, very big stink.
Big small dog, big stink.
I've had the pleasure of smelling her ass first.
Very embarrassed.
Yeah.
Well, I told you to get your nose out of there.
Not a lot of ladies can say that. What? That didn't make sense. It made sense in my head, but it didn't make sense when it came out. Sorry,
It's good.
world.
It's good.
Sorry, world.
Sorry, world. For my terrible jokes. So today, I was thinking I wanted to tell like some sort of ghost story or find good ghost stories or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stumbled across this story that I had seen prior in my lifetime where I was in bed and it made me really scared. So I'm a grown-up. So I decided to tell you guys about the tale of Dear David. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to jump in on here, like I always do, like the rude bastard that I am. But
No, I like it.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about this story.
I know. Neither does Lynn. Doesn't
Well,
really know anything either, except for what I rambled at her when I got to her house.
She showed me some pictures that were creepy.
Yes, so we will be sharing more. There's a lot of pictures, so I'll just try and share some of those on social media.
Yeah. All
But
right.
I will also tell you. So, Dear David. So, ooh, Lou's mad.
Sorry.
Lou scared me. She doesn't like David.
No, clearly not.
Jesus, Louises.
Ready.
All right. So this guy, his name is Adam Ellis. He's an illustrator and he's an author.
Ooh.
And he essentially told this entire story about what was happening to him on Twitter. So for months, he was tweeting updates on his haunted apartment.
Right.
His Twitter handle is at Moby_dickhead. So Moby Dickhead.
I'm a fan of this bloke already. Yeah.
Right,
Awesome.
right. So if you want to find it on Twitter, you can. You have to go
Moby
back.
Dickhead.
Moby Dickhead. You have to go back a little bit because it was in 2017. Or if you Google Dear David, you can kind of find, he linked it. He put all of the Dear David tweets on a separate website.
What's his real name?
His name is Adam Ellis.
Oh, I have to work out who David is, but yeah, go on.
Well, Dear David is the ghost, is the little ghost boy.
All right.
So
Oh boy.
it all started. Mwah. All right. So it all started in August of 2017 when Adam tweeted, I'm quoting his tweet. So my apartment is currently being haunted by the ghost of a dead child and he's trying to kill me.
Oof.
And that's the start of the story. He tells the story that he had a dream several months before about a child with a misshapen head that was sitting on a yeah. It's like, so he drew it out, so it looks like it has like a dent in its head, like something hit him in
Right. So, in other words, the child should be in the front row of a carnival, really, if it was alive.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's so scary. So in his dream, the child was sitting on a green rocking chair that Adam had in his bedroom at the foot of his bed. And he says that in his head was huge, misshapen, and dented on one side. He said in the dream, Adam was paralyzed in his dream, so he couldn't move. And the child left the chair and was, quote unquote, shambling towards him. And then he woke up. Okay.
Okay.
This is where it starts. So then a little bit later, a couple nights later, he has another dream where he meets a little girl. And the little girl told Adam that he was dealing with Dear David. she said, "Oh, you met Dear David." And he said, "What?" And she was like, "Well, let me tell you." Basically, she said, in the dream, let me tell you the rules about how to interact with Dear David.
First of all, buy him a hat.
There's rules. Yeah, buy him a hat.
Buy him a hat.
Because it's scary.
You don't have to keep staring at this fucking big dent in his head.
Right?
Mm.
Poor David with his dented head. Little denty Dave. No. I can't believe I read all about this yesterday and never thought of that until right now.
That's hilarious.
So rule number 1 is you can ask him 2 questions as long as you say the words "Dear David" first. And then number 2 is you can never ask him more than 2 questions. If you do, he'll kill you.
Oh.
And then he wakes up, keeps living his life, whatever, and then has another dream. And the next time he has a dream with David in it, he remembers what this girl in his other dream tells him. So he said, "Dear David, how did you die?" And David said, "An accident in a store." And then he said, "Dear David, what happened in the store?" And David said, "A shelf was pushed on my head." So now in the dream, Adam is panicking. This is how he describes it. He says he's so scared in this dream that he just asks him, he's like, "Well, who pushed the shelf?" Right? And so now.
Question number 3.
He asks, yes. So David doesn't respond. And then Adam realized that he had now asked a 3rd question, and he panics and wakes up and he's terrified. So he's got a lot of these dreams going on, all this stuff. So then he's got cats. He's got 2 cats. And the cats, so Adam tweets out a tweet that says, "Lately, something strange is happening. For the past 4 nights, my cats gather at the front door at exactly midnight and just stare at it, almost like something is on the other side." And he has videos of the cats sitting next to the door, and they're doing the thing that cats do when they
Maybe they
well, they're curious. Yes. Wary and curious. He says the cat seemed unnerved, and even though he checked the hallway and there was nothing there, he tweeted, "Dear David found me, I think. I don't know what to do." So scary, right? It's scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
funny name as well, isn't it? Dear David. I mean,
like little Dear David. He's British in my head. Dear David is British.
Ask, is this British?
It's not. It's actually in I think it's in New York.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because he worked for BuzzFeed. So wherever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think it's in New York. So the cat behavior continues for weeks. The cats are going to the door at midnight, exactly, and hovering around there for a while. So Ellis decides that he's.
Sorry.
What did you say?
Sorry, Kaylee. Is that the front door they're going to?
The front door of his apartment. Yeah. So it's only has one door. So they just hover by the door, out into the hallway, because he lives in it's a 2-floor apartment, like a double house. So, he decides that he's going to take a photo of the hallway when the cats are doing it, but he's so scared that he takes it through the peephole of his apartment. So he takes one picture through the peephole, or a couple pictures through the peephole, and then he finally works up the nerve to take another picture once he opens the door. And then side by side, when you compare the pictures, there's nothing there when the door is open, but through the peephole, it looks like there may be something there. And he swears that when he looked through the peephole, he saw something move. Ooh. So scary.
Yeah.
Wee scary. So now he's there's a lot of tweets. So he says things feel weird and all this kind of stuff. So he downloads an app on his phone that he turns on when he's sleeping. And the app essentially, when it hears a sound, it records automatically. It turns on and records.
Right.
So he wakes up, he uses the app, he wakes up and the next morning, and there was 33 recordings. So, but a lot of those are probably, he says it flat out, a lot of them are him moving around in the bed or whatever. Yeah. But there was 3 recordings that out of the 33 that had quote unquote something. I listened to them because they're on SoundCloud. I don't know how to do, but it really, if it was something of significance, I would have figured out how to play it for you guys, but it really just sounds like noises that are
So
made.
it's like an EVP app then.
Kind of. Well, no, it's just an app that you move when you sleep, the app registers that there's sound and records the sound. So it's not necessarily EVP. It's just
any sound.
Okay.
So there's only 3. I listened to them. They're mostly static. One is more staticky than the rest of them, which was odd. And then there's one where you can hear something like move or fall or creak, but it really could be noises of an old house.
Right.
So
or the cats.
Right, or the cats or something like that.
Yeah.
So then he decides that he's going to buy a Polaroid camera. And he starts just like taking pictures of his apartment, like, well, I'm going to take a picture here and take a picture there. And then he takes a picture of the front hallway and it develops black. And he's like, that's weird. Maybe my finger was over it. So he takes another picture with his finger over it. And when you hold them side by side, they're completely different. Like the one with his finger over it is really dark. So because this is on Twitter, people are freaking out, right? So they take the picture and they enhance it and edit it and all that stuff. And you can
lighten the picture probably.
Yeah. So they do all that and you can actually see a figure in the hallway.
Yeah.
He even took pictures with his phone. So he opened the door and took a picture with his phone so you could see that the hallway was light. And then he took a picture like from further away with the Polaroid camera and the hallway was completely black. Even though the light was on.
That's crazy.
It's fucking creeperson. Scary. I'm going to say scary like 600 times because that's what I do. Sorry. It's a wee skiwi.
Lou's looking at you like, really?
So, yeah. So then he says, because, people on the internet are trying to, help him out. Like, you should sage your apartment. So he goes and gets some sage and he tries to sage his apartment. And then he tweets out, sage didn't work. I've dreamed about David, and I haven't dreamed about David in a few months, but he appeared again last night. In my dream, my bedroom was filled with hazy smoke, but I could see David sitting in a chair across the room. He was smaller this time, almost shrunken. He didn't do or say anything except look at me. Anyway, feels like a bad omen.
Yeah.
What?
Well, he's got a shrunken head anyway.
Well, he's all fucked up. Well, poor little David, somebody pushed a shelf on his head.
Right.
And he's just a mad dog.
Yeah, and now he's got a head that looks like the Death Star.
It's fucking scary. So he because this guy was an illustrator.
Fucking dent in
with
the
the dent in it?
Yeah.
I get your joke.
Yeah, that big satellite thing with it. Yeah.
Da, 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 it's David with his dent head. You're welcome. That's the Imperial March by Caitlin Greer. So
you hear Lulu groaning.
Yeah, she's sleeping. She's literally sleeping. Fucking dog. Our guest star. Our story has put the dog to sleep.
Right.
So after he has the dream where he sees him and he's a little smaller, he tweets again. Like small things continue to happen around the apartment, and he tweets again. It feels like a storm is coming. And then later that night, there was a thunderstorm warning that got sent out to like his phone and all that stuff. And then he has another dream where David is dragging him by the arm through a warehouse. And then he wakes up, he gets in the shower, he does the whole thing, and then he realizes that he has a bruise on his arm.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He talks about in the dream, he said in that dream in particular, it was because David is so small, it was weird that he could pull him through this warehouse because he was forcefully pulling through the warehouse.
Yeah.
And he openly admits, he was like, listen, I don't know if that's what this bruise is from. I could have very well hit it the day before.
Right.
He's not like, that's what I kind of like about it, is he's not like, this has to be real. He's very, he questions it a lot.
Yeah.
So after he sees the bruise that same morning, he goes to to get a bagel because he gets bagels every Saturday morning.
It's New York.
Yeah,
He's
right?
from New York. He's from New York, so
He's going to get his bagel, going to the deli, get my bagel.
he could have gone to Dunkin' Donuts instead. Take David with
No. Dunkin' Donuts bagels are shit.
him. You what?
Jesus.
Right. Fucking, there's the last one from me. Right.
This will be Lee Hazel's last episode.
Sorry, Lee.
Take young David to Dunkin' Donuts, push him in, give him his first ever Boston cream.
Maybe he'll be happier. He'll answer 3 or 4 questions.
His head looks like a freaking croissant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
But dear David, he's obviously building up to killing him, isn't he? So he's, he doesn't
he's just, it's escalating. Like things are escalating. Like it started off small and then it was dreams. And then, so the morning after he had the dream with the bruise on his arm, he's walking to get his bagel and he walks by a food cart repair warehouse that he literally says he has to walk by to get everywhere because it's very close to his apartment. And he said he's never once seen it not full or with like packed with carts getting serviced or anything like that. And on this particular day, after he had the dream of David pulling him through a warehouse, he walks by this warehouse and it's completely abandoned. And all of the things are open. It's completely abandoned. And the only thing that was left in there was one chair and it was green, which is David was in his room.
The rocking chair.
In the green chair, right?
Yeah.
So there was one green chair. And then, it's creepy, right? So then he goes and he gets his bagel or whatever. And on the way back, the warehouse is completely shut up and closed. And then it was closed like that for a very long time after that. So
he's only gone out for a fucking bagel.
Right? He's like, I just wanted a bagel.
He's only gone out for a fucking bagel. Yeah.
And now he's got to go by the creepy warehouse, right?
Crazy.
Right.
So as I said, things are now escalating. This part freaks me out. So after a few weeks of the cats continuously going to the door at midnight every night, they started to get into a routine, right? He's like ready for it. Yeah. The routine changes. So now the cats start crying at the door for 15 minutes every night, around 15 minutes every night at 10 o'clock. And then shortly after the cats do that, he starts to receive phone calls from blocked numbers. And he shows his call log and there's like all these phone numbers. And there's like multiple phone calls a night and it's every night for a couple of nights. And he picked it up one time. Ugh. He picked it up one time.
And this voice just went, join us.
Right? Right? And it's like,
join us.
Feed me, Seymour. Like, imagine if ghosts had silly voice.
Oh my God.
If instead of being like, yeah, they're like, I'm just here to scare you. I'm embarrassing myself. So he starts to get these phone calls. He picked up one time and when he picked up, he didn't say anything because he was assuming that it was like an automated number. And he said that a lot of times when you answer them, they won't call you back after that or whatever. So he picks it up and he stays silent for about a minute. And he said that it was just static for the minute. And then after a minute, right before he hung up, the static stopped. There was silence. And then right before he heard a small voice say, hello. And then he panicked and hung up.
Fuck that.
Right? Right? Fuck that. He actually said it wasn't like a hello. It was more like a hello, like a statement, but it was a small voice.
Yeah.
Fuck. It gives me goosebumps. I hate the phone call thing. I hate it. I don't like it. Every time I get a phone call from a number I don't know, I'm like, this is it. Yeah. They found me.
The ghosts are calling.
The ghosts are calling. They're like, what up?
I'm going to call you and be like,
I'll fucking murder. I will freak out. You don't understand. I have weird anxiety.
So
tell you
will just drop on the floor.
I will fall on the floor. Like, my phone. Ah.
So when this voice said hello, what did he do? Did he put the phone down?
Oh, he fucking hung up immediately. Yeah. He was like, no.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. He actually just said this. That's a wee scary. And then moved on. Yeah, he put. Ugh.
Oh, he shat himself, basically.
Probably wouldn't you if you're like sitting in your apartment and your cats are fucking freaking out and then your phone's ringing all, like multiple times in a row and you're like, I don't even know, and then you pick it up and hello.
Yeah.
Probably some like
Yeah, I would sort of. It's not your average call, is it? No.
little like Indian lady at a call center, just waiting for him to say something, and so then she,
Right? Right. But I feel like
is this a sales call? I mean,
right? Like
they're getting them in
AT&T
these days.
service. If he had held on, it would have been like, "Hi, this is Comcast Cable Company, just calling to see how you feel about your service." Yes. So now he decides that he's going to buy one of the like a pet camera, one of the ones that, or like just a camera in general that's triggered by movement.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And whenever something moves, it pings to your phone.
Okay.
So he buys this and he puts it in like his living room or whatever. And then he goes on a short trip. And
Get another bagel.
what?
Get another bagel.
Yes. He went.
I'll have another bagel. That's what I want. Yeah.
It was like a weekend of bagels. So he goes on his bagel retreat for a weekend.
It was fancy. They had locks.
Yeah. Lots of locks.
Gross.
Locks are gross.
I don't know why anybody.
Have you ever eaten locks? Like bagels and locks? Locks? LOX?
I don't know what it is.
It's like fish.
It's like
it's salmon. It's really thinly sliced
like,
salmon.
But it's like raw
and
it's like smoked or something.
Smoked. And you put it on bagels with cream cheese.
That's what I want in the morning.
Sounds nice, but yeah, it
sounds nice. It sounds horrible.
It's not great.
What? Fucking calm down, Lynn. Fucking hell.
Lynn's mad about breakfast fish.
Yeah.
She doesn't like.
Who wants to eat fish in the morning? I mean, I don't want to eat fish ever, but who wants to eat fish in the morning? Like, you know what would go great with my morning breath? Fish.
It's like salmon. It's probably nice.
I mean, it might.
Plenty of people like it. I just think it sounds nasty.
A lot of times they put capers on it too, which I'm not into.
I do like capers.
I'm not into it. The Great Lox caper.
Right. I haven't heard of it anyway. So, yeah.
So now that we've discussed our bagel and breakfast preferences,
right.
Lynn doesn't like fish for breakfast.
It's like he's leaving these apartments. So right, I'm just popping out for a bagel. David, do you want anything?
Right? Yeah, right. And he goes, hello?
Yeah. Maybe you see that's what it was. The phone call was like, hello? Could you get me something?
Yeah, I'll have a medium iced coffee. Because kids love iced coffee. I don't know.
He could get an iced tea with milk in it.
Yeah. Because little British ghost boy is like iced tea with milk. He's British to me. He's been British to me the whole time.
It sounds like it. Dear David.
Dear David.
David.
Like that. David, why is your head all fucked up like that? Right out, David. It was a little bit of a bop. That's all. Just a bop. Yes, because it's very British let's
let it smooth it over.
Yeah. No. It's not that bad. Just a touch. Don't worry. It doesn't look that bad. It's just a little caved in.
Just a flesh wound.
Nobody tell David. He's all fucked up.
It must have been a heck of a fucking bookshelf to put an absolute huge dent in his head.
Yeah. I think it killed him. So whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Does it look?
Yeah, there's some weird, creep pictures. So getting to that, so he's got this pet camera that goes off every time there's movement, and he goes away for the weekend, and he's hoping that David will lose track of him while he's gone because he thinks that David is attached to him, not the apartment.
Okay.
Because he did live on the first floor and he moved up to the second floor, and he thought maybe when I move, David will leave. David never left.
Oh, that was his grand move up a floor.
Well, yeah. I mean, you want those skyline views from that second floor.
Sure. Yep.
So, anywho, pet cam.
So right, David, your fucking rent's due, mate.
Yeah, right? Seriously.
You want to live here and fucking haunt me, at least you got to fucking do is pay rent.
Right?
In New York, yeah.
No shit. I concur.
You're going to sit at the end of my bed, you're paying rent, mate. Sorry.
Okay, so the pet cam, when he's away, Adam's phone pings off because it gets notified that something is moving. And he had moved that green chair out of his bedroom into the living room because fuck that shit.
Right.
And in the video, the chair, because it's a rocking chair. So there is video, and it's on his Twitter, that the chair starts to rock slowly in one video. And then
can you see like that there's nothing around it? Like it's not a cat walking.
Yeah, there's no cats. You can see the whole thing.
So you say he does have cats.
He does have cats, right? So you can. So no, there's no cat. There's no nothing. There's just the chair starts to move, and then there's a second video of he had a turtle shell like hanging on the wall above a bookshelf, and the turtle shell just falls off the wall for no explained reason. He said there's no windows open, there's no reason. He lives on the top floor, so there's nobody walking around above him. And then the pet cam also caught videos of the cats behaving strangely. Like one of the cats got noticed. What? Licking his own ass?
He's never done that before. Yeah.
Oh, rude. Don't eat your own asshole. This is my.
He's only done it since David moved in.
David's a bad influence. Just tossing salads. That's what that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So
I don't know why I all of a sudden became the authority on it. Yes.
On asshole munching. That's Lynn knows. She has her PhD in buttholes.
No, she's not.
What you do, Lynn, at the weekends is your business, you know?
No.
The Butthole Queen. That's your new nickname.
The Butthole Queen of Boston.
Yeah. Kid. You gotta say it. If we're gonna put Boston in there, you'll be like, I'm the fucking Butthole Queen of Boston, kid. Give me my butthole crown. It's just a beautifully adorned crown with little bee holes all over it.
Oh my god.
Back to the fucking pet cam.
Please.
So the cats, there's one video of one of the cats getting scared by something and then jumping over something that's not there, like literally scared and jumped.
Okay.
And then he said there is another video of the other cat standing up on its hind legs over and over again for hours and like batting at the air. There's nothing there. And he said he's never seen the cat do that before. It doesn't usually chase bugs or flies or anything like that. And he said it was so that happened. And then so now he starts to get like more nightmares, like crazier nightmares. So on September 16th, so this is like 2 months after everything has started, Adam tweeted about a nightmare he had. And he said, on the pillow next to me was a severed head with a bloody spine attached, snaking down the bed, right? He said the head was staring right at me, somehow still alive. It had this huge smile plastered on its face. And he's horrified. I scream, what happened to you?
That's the question.
That's what you would scream? I would
How
be
did
like,
that happen?
why are you here, sir? And the head smiled even bigger and said, it feels great. And that's what he tweeted.
This is Adam bloke. This is Adam bloke. Does he like to eat a lot of cheese before he goes to bed?
What? Does cheese give you nightmares?
I bet if you...
What cheese do you have over there?
Is it hallucinogenic cheese?
Isn't there a saying that if you eat a lot of cheese before you go to bed, it makes you dream?
I think that's sugar. Isn't it sugar?
No, that's cocaine you're thinking of, but I'm talking about cheese.
You don't sleep when you have cocaine.
No.
You don't sleep at all.
Jeez. I don't know. Maybe that's a weird British saying.
Don't add that cheese at night, son.
You know, I've told you about our past cheese on toast.
Cuisine. That your like nighttime ritual is just some cheese on toast, so then you have scary dreams.
Scary dreams. I just had this image though when you were telling me about this dream, like of you, if you were dreaming it, you'd be like, nope.
Yeah, no. I would what I like to call nope the fuck out of there. I would nope the fuck out. If I was dreaming, awake, anything, and I open my eyes and there's a fucking head in the bed staring at me, I'm not gonna be like, excuse me, sir, what happened?
Yeah,
What's the problem here? I'm going to be like, Scooby-Doo style, fucking scrambling out of the room. Fucking Caitlin size cutout right in the wall.
Yeah. So it's just basically a head and a spine and nothing else.
Yeah, that's what he dreamed. And it had like a big grin. And then the grin is what fucks me up. What are you smiling about, bro? Because you lost 100 pounds? Proud of you. Oh, I'm so skinny. Everyone's English today. Sorry. Terrible. Sorry,
look, the weight has just fallen off of me. Look,
I'm just shedding the pounds.
Yeah. Now he looks like a lollipop, then, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, gross.
Yeah, it does. That's true.
That's awesome.
Head on a stick.
Yeah, head on a stick.
I know what I'm making for Halloween.
A head on a stick. So then, it's like his next bagel outing, because he says he goes to get bagels every Saturday. So he's going to get bagels and he walks by the warehouse again and it's still all closed up. And it has those big like metal shutter doors, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he walks by it, and as he walks by, he hears a thud and on the door, and then he stopped and he waited and he didn't hear anything else for a little while. And then there was like a window that's up kind of high. Mm-hmm. So he decides that he does this a lot. He's going to take a picture in the window and fucking run. That's what he said. It's like, I'm going to take a picture real fast and then fucking run.
This guy's got to be related to you.
Me? Yeah.
Right.
Take a picture, run. Because like I'm interested and I want to know, but I also don't want to be involved.
Yeah.
So he does that. He fucking snaps a photo, books it, doesn't even look at the picture.
Nope.
Yeah.
And then when he
is it worth going out for a bagel? It's like,
well, everywhere he goes,
everywhere he goes, this fucking carnage and things are strange happening around him.
Right?
It's better to just not go out for a bagel.
Right. Well, maybe man's got to eat, right?
Yeah. All right.
He's got to get out of the apartment.
So I know, and he did say that like the warehouse is on the way to pretty much everything that he does. So
right.
Well, when he looked at the picture, he put it back on. He put it on Twitter, and then everyone takes it and does the thing. Mm-hmm. And when you enhance the photo and you look at it, you can kind of see what appears to be the image of David in the photo. And there are pictures of it, and people have like drawn around it. Mm. But he also says that I'm not sure if this is the thing where your brain sees things that it wants to see.
Yeah.
So he is still continuing to say it may be that, or it may just be because I'm scared shitless and that's all my brain is seeing.
Yeah.
So after this, he says there starts to be strange electrical occurrences in his apartment. The hallway light keeps burning out. So the light bulbs are burning out. And then in the middle of the night, he gets up to like get a drink at some point, and he notices a strange light, kind of a very dim light coming on and off in his living room for just a few seconds. And then he starts to hear scratching outside his front door. Ooh. And then he does the thing again where he's too scared to open the door, but he takes a picture through the peephole. Again, this one is fucking.
I love the peephole picture.
Creepy, because at first it doesn't look like there's anything really there. It just looks really blurry.
Yeah.
But then when you really look at it, you can actually see, like, without having to really enhance the picture, you can see an ear and an eye, like the outline of an eye, like fucking looking directly back at you. No. That's when you find an apartment listing and you get the fuck out of there. Get out. He's looking at. I can't.
So what?
Listen, I
don't. He hasn't killed him yet.
Can I just tell you that? Come on. I went to take my dogs out the other night, and it was late at night.
Yeah.
And you know how like you can't see outside through like a glass slider until you turn because the reflection from the inside is there.
Yeah.
This is how fucked up I am. I'm literally going, don't be a person there. Don't be a person there. Like before I turn the light on, because I was just like, oh my God, there's going to be, and in my head, I'm like, there's going to be a guy, and it's going to be the head with the spine just floating. I know. Just like, hey, do you have any keys? Do you have any keys?
Well, I can't believe that David spends half his time outside the fucking front door. But he's a ghost, but he can't float through a fucking door.
Maybe
I think he can. He's just probably fucking with him.
fucking with him.
Maybe he's a ghost with a sense of humor.
He's a kid.
You gotta appreciate that.
He is a kid.
Right.
So
yeah. Actually, I have a question. I have a question.
All right.
If I raise my hand?
Yes, Mr. Hazel.
Well, gentleman at the back, please. How old's David meant to be? His child?
Yeah, he's a child. He
looks like he's like 8 or 9.
Small
in the pictures.
Yeah.
I think
maybe
he could actually reach the peephole.
I think
he's
that
a
can
ghost.
float the fuck up wherever he wants.
He can float up, but he can't float through a door. Right. I just wanted
he can.
He's a ghost.
He's
I'm pretty
just messing
sure
with the dude.
the ghosties can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Little creepies and crawlies. The ghosties can do yes. So we'll get to this.
All right.
So then now Adam is really starting to get like freaked the fuck out. So he has a friend come over and cleanse the apartment. And he says that the activity slows down for a little bit, but that didn't last very long. And then
cheers, mate. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, right. So he has like
thanks for coming, mate. You made it fucking worse. Yeah.
it was like a week of like calmness.
A little reprieve.
But during this week, he's going on his like usual walk, and he walks by the warehouse again. And the warehouse has been closed up forever, and now all the doors are open. And guess what's in the warehouse?
A green chair.
Oh, it's worse. There is one thing in the warehouse.
What?
A fucking hearse. There is literally
that's awesome.
sitting in the warehouse. And he took pictures of it. There's just
nice
empty warehouse hearse. And he says, it is Halloween season.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe get something for that.
Yeah.
But why would there just be a fucking hearse?
You got to store it somewhere
in the empty warehouse.
Yeah, why not?
Uh-huh. So still creepy, coincidental.
That is creepy. That is very creepy.
It is,
creepy.
Yeah.
So now it's October. It's October, and this motherfucker's thirsty. So he's like, I'm gonna get up and get a drink. This is my actual fucking nightmare. Okay. So he's like, I'm gonna get up and get a drink, and he's in the kitchen, and he sees someone standing on the roof that's adjacent to his building. And so he shuts the lights off, drops to the ground, Caitlin style, and then holds up his phone and takes pictures out the window.
Right.
Because fuck that, you don't want to make eye contact. That's scary. I want to see my picture. No. My arms aren't long enough to do that kind of stuff though, so I'd be pretty fucked. But I'd be like, I know, Lynn would be like, hey, David, let's hang out with our way.
By this time, he's like, if you go past and there's a fucking hearse there now, I'm assuming he's gone out for a bagel again. You go out to the bagel shop, say, look, mate, usual please, can I ask, do you do home delivery? Because I'm getting fucked up with it.
Right. Why didn't you say, like, dude, what's the deal with the hearse?
Well, no, because that's not the bagel place. It's just the warehouse.
Maybe they would know.
No, I know, but he's going out, he's walking past all these places to get to his bagel, isn't he? So at that point, you say, you know what? I'll ring him up. They fucking deliver to home.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Going through this is just,
Well, home is just haunted, evidently.
Right? Well, maybe he
creepy, though.
I know. Yeah. So he takes pictures. And then he posts all the pictures, and in one of them there is a figure in the photo, so you can see a figure.
Is this in the warehouse?
And it's on the roof. The one that's on the roof adjacent to his building.
It was New York. Maybe it was just somebody out there.
Yes. So
it's a particular night in New York, isn't it? For people fucking robbing buildings.
It's very fucking
true. Weird thing.
Well, I mean, it's kind of true. It's like medium.
Sorry, New York.
Medium true. Sorry, New York. That's not really like we don't know what neighborhood.
It took me a while to insult the first city, didn't it?
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Me? Oh,
no.
Do I insult them?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not me.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah.
He's like, me, I want to be
I didn't. I insulted them.
I want it now, Daddy. What the fuck is even happening? So he has another dream after he takes a picture. He has another dream where, he has an app. Did we talk about the app that I don't think I talked about. So he downloads another app that takes a picture every 60 seconds.
Oh, no, you didn't talk about this.
So it's like on your phone. So you like set your phone up or whatever, and it just takes a picture however often that you set it. So he sets it up on his bureau so it can like look at him while he's sleeping, and it has like, it gets his whole room in there. So this app is like taking a picture every 60 seconds. So he sets this up, and during the time that he's doing this, he has another dream where David is sitting in a chair in his room. It's not the green chair, but it's still a chair in his room. And then in the dream, he said he didn't feel as paralyzed as he did in the first dream, although he did still feel like he was paralyzed, but he was able to, in the dream, get his phone and take pictures of dear David as he was coming towards him, because David was walking towards him. So then when Adam woke up, he immediately got his phone, and there was a sequence of photos of a small boy like starting on the chair and then moving closer and closer to his bed.
Yeah.
Fuck that noise. In the last picture, it's literally just like the weirdest portion. It's not the squished side, but it looks like the crypt keeper's head.
Yeah.
With like an ear, and somebody actually linked the photos together to make like a little video, and you can see the camera moves at the very end of it. So in the last picture with the head, the camera did shift.
Right.
So David, and you can Adam is in his bed sleeping the whole time, maybe, I guess. So so now he starts to hear noises above him, and the way he thought his apartment was originally set up is that right above him, directly above him, was the roof. And there's no direct access to the roof. So he's thinking like somebody's on the roof, like this is fucking nuts, like all this kind of stuff. And then he's investigating, and he kind of figures out that it's not the roof directly above him. There's a crawl space. So there's like a 3-foot crawl space above him. And in his entryway, the stairway, there's a little like,
ladder thing.
No, there's no ladder, but there's like a hatch, I guess.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah.
In old houses, they have the way to get in the attic, and it's just a wood board over it. So you have to like push up the board. So it looks like that. Okay. So he always thought that was like access to the roof, but then he kind of figured out that it was a crawl space.
So did he stick his camera up in it and run away?
So no, because it's really tall. It was really high up. Yeah. So I'm sure he could have. Right. He's like, you know what? Too scary. I'm going to stick he got a really long selfie stick and just like.
Moved it up, pushed the door.
Yeah.
So he says he hears like really loud thudding noises coming from above him, and it was distinctly the sound of something falling to the floor. And then after one night of the noises escalating and getting louder, the next morning he was leaving to get a bagel. Of course. And there was debris, like dirt on the ground, on the stairs underneath where the hatch was. So as if like the hatch had been like shifted. And there's pictures of that as well. Yeah. So he saw that and he was like, fuck this shit. So he had previously ordered a telescoping like pole so he could open the thing. And
the telescope again.
I know. And he polished it all night. Get it ready. And then in the morning, he whips that bad Larry out, poked it in the little hole, poked it in the hatch. And he has a video of him doing this. And
I'm sure he does.
He does.
Every 60 seconds, yeah.
So, no. He set up his camera while he was poking the hatch. Yeah. So he pushes it up and something falls out and hits the ground.
Oh.
What is it? You ready? You want to know what it is?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
The picture?
Yeah. Okay. It is a small child's leather shoe that looks like it's from the 1900s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 1800s.
Yeah. Or 1800s. Like it looks like
a Victorian era shoe.
Yeah. Now he decides, fuck this shit, calls his landlord, and he's like, get your ass over here with the fucking ladder.
Right.
And the landlord comes over with a ladder and goes up into the hatch and sees nothing. And the only other thing that they found up there was a small marble that looks like it had, like he had found out that in the way they used to make glass marbles was they would cut the glass with scissors. So there was always like one weird side on them.
Yeah.
So it had like one weird side. And guess what color it was? It was
green.
Green. Mm-hmm. It was green. Also, to go back to the green, the there was the turtle shell that fell off the wall, also green.
Yeah.
There was another thing that got pushed off that same bookshelf, which was a small little felt cactus, also green. And there's video of a glass on a table moving. That was also green.
He likes green.
Yeah.
So
It's the color.
It's his favorite color. So there's a lot of link to the color green. And whatever. So after they find the marble, Adam's tweets and stuff start to kind of slow down, and they span out a little bit. And then he tweets to say he's not talking as much because he hasn't been feeling well. He's not sleeping. He's having weirder dreams that he can't really describe. And he's tired all the time and experiencing bouts of dizziness. So what else is happening? I think my timeline is fucked up because I suck. But at some point in time during this, he needs to get the fuck out of there. So he goes to his parents' house. Okay. And he's like, and they live in like Michigan or somewhere.
Right.
So he said, because he wasn't feeling well and all this stuff, so he gets the fuck out of there and he goes to his parents' house hoping to get away from all of it. And he said the first couple of days he was at his parents' house, he felt better. And then he started to feel like he was being watched through the windows, like in the bathroom and things like that. And one morning when he went outside, there was child's footprints in the snow that led from the window. Like only one way though. So there wasn't like multiple tracks. There was just child footprints in the snow. Fuck you, Dave.
Is there a bagel shop around the corner from his mum and dad's?
David was like, I'm hungry.
David just hungry. I want a bagel. Please.
I'm Team David. I like David.
I like David. He is fucking with him. Team David. You butt cheek. So then
we got Steve the cat in the background now too. It's just full of animals today. Steve's not yelling this time.
Steve the cat. So he goes home and he has another dream. And he sets this camera up, the 60-second camera thing up pretty much every night. And so he goes home and he has another dream where David is hovering above him while he's laying in bed. And he's staring at him. And in the dream, David just suddenly fucking falls down and slams onto his body. And he said he woke up with the wind knocked out of him and he like could feel the pressure on his chest. And then he checked his camera, and there's a photo of David falling from the sky. David falling from the sky. It's fucking scary.
That's hilarious.
And then after this, he starts to get really weird, and he tweets that he's feeling better, but sometimes he seems to lose time. And then this is followed by a lot of uncharacteristic tweets. Everything that he had tweeted this entire time was well written, the punctuation, capitalization, like if he posted a video, there was always a description of it. After that, he started to just like post of random videos of his cats. No description. The camera was way low on the ground. There was always something like weirdly in front of it. And then he randomly tweets out this simple all lowercase letters, and it just says everything is fine.
Ooh.
And
ominous,
right? And then
I would like a bagel.
Bring me a bagel.
David is hungry.
David.
David wants a poppy seed bagel.
A poppy seed. David doesn't want to pass a drug test. So he then posts a really personal tweet saying, which he never had done really prior, talking about how he was leaving his job to work on
work in the bagel shop.
projects or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he tweets out one more thing that says, again, in poorly written lowercase letters, like not really good punctuation. And it says, please don't worry about me. I'm okay. And everything will be like it was before, with a little like smiley face, which is uncharacteristic for him as well.
Okay.
And then after the bizarre tweets and a few more weird cat videos, the story just abruptly ends. And Adam says, with Adam saying it's been quiet and he was trying to focus on work. And just like that, his Twitter feed just goes back to being a normal Twitter feed.
Yeah.
And they're making a movie about
Really?
David.
Nice.
Well, the thing is I want to know. Well, it's a great story, by the way.
It was a medium story.
Well, no,
Okay.
the little girl who told him about, oh, that's dear David, you know, he's going to fucking kill you and blah, blah, blah. Does he know who that girl is?
Nope, it was the one and only time with the little girl.
So now, okay. I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember, was she a real girl or was this in a dream? Okay.
Dream.
Yeah, but-
He never says that he saw them ever awake.
Okay.
He was always sleeping.
Right.
Yeah.
But then he would wake up and there would be pictures. Or he would wake up and there would be videos, or he caught a lot on video. Like, you should check it out. Like, if this is interesting to you, you should definitely like Google it and check it out.
Was it Moby_Dicksplat, isn't it?
What?
No, his Twitter account, isn't it? Moby_Dicksplat.
Not Dick Splat, Dickhead.
Dickhead. But has anyone gone into the history of that building?
So they did look into it and nobody could find really anything. And then there was a couple people who found a story of a boy who got killed and blah, blah, blah. But there was a lot of, like, in early New York days, there was a lot of industrialism and all that sort of stuff. So I'm sure it wasn't uncommon.
Yeah.
So there were people that claimed that they found out who David was. But I don't know. I don't think David was just like, I think if he was fucking with him that hard, do you really think he was a regular kid, or do you think he was a scary bad guy ghost?
I think he was just a bored kid.
Yeah.
That's true.
So they wasn't really, I mean, they wasn't dreams that this Adam was having at all, because the camera has picked it up. So that it wasn't a dream.
Well, he was
thought, I had another fucking nightmare last night. No, it wasn't a nightmare. It was actually real.
But in the dreams, it was weird because he was sleeping. So in all the photos, he's literally just sleeping.
Right.
And then there's like little kid. There's one series where he's just like starts on the chair, and then he's on the floor, and then he's next to the bed, and then he's on the bed, and then he's like staring at him like, can you fuck the fuck off, David? I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for this, David, for fuck's sakes. You know, you've had all day to fucking sleep.
Right.
David, to be fair, you know.
David, can we do this during the daytime?
Yeah. You've had all day to fucking
David, to be fair, you've slept all day.
Yeah.
I haven't fucking slept a bloody wink.
How do you think I'm going to buy these bagels?
David, have you been eating fucking cheese again?
I can't believe that. Is that really a thing, though, that if you eat too much dairy, you're going to have nightmares?
Right, Google it. But it's, I've always heard that if you eat cheese just before you go to bed, it gives you strong dreams.
Strong dreams.
Oh.
What are strong dreams?
It's just a bunch of Arnold Schwarzeneggers.
Yes.
I don't know how to explain it.
I give you a dream.
Yeah, very sort of explicit. Just
Everyone's freaking out over here.
Yeah, the moral is just don't have cheese on toast, Caitlin, before you go.
Your dreams, give them to me. What? That's my terrible Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
I can do an Arnold impression.
Go here. Let's hear.
It's all bullshit. All of it.
Get to the chopper. That's my favorite.
Get to the fucking chopper. Yeah.
My other favorite.
It's all bullshit. All of it. Yeah.
And my other favorite is literally the only part of Predator I remember is when he meets the guy and they like do the manliest handshake ever. And
yeah.
You son of a bitch. It's the best. It's a little dealing.
Yeah.
I don't. Steve the cat is causing.
Wreaking havoc. He's playing David. Excuse me.
No, that's okay. So I'm going to have a look on Twitter later on. So
I'll send. So what I'll do? Hold on. We'll wait till Lynn gets back.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Well, what I'll do is I'll link I'll put up some links on our Facebook and our Instagram and all that stuff so people can find them, because I saved all the links. There's one where he just put all the tweets on one page, so it makes it easier.
Yeah.
It's a lot though. It's a lot. It's there's a lot more than what I summarized. Yeah. But I mean, you don't know, like with this stuff, like you don't know if this guy just made it up or not, and that's fine. But if he made it up, he was like super dedicated to this situation. Like
I got a film out of it.
There's I know. Well, who knew?
Yeah.
But they're making a movie.
Yeah.
So, that's it.
That's cool.
Yeah, very good.
Was
Beautiful. So do you have any good ghost stories?
About myself?
Yeah.
My ghost person? Yes, I do. Actually, I told you the ones about my current house. I've had 2 experiences in my current house where once I was sleeping and I felt, somebody shakes you if you're snoring.
Yeah.
So I was like my husband and I sleep back to back usually because I don't want to be.
Right.
So I was sleeping and I felt like a hand on my shoulder shake me, like to wake me up. And I remember being really mad because I'm not a good sleeper. So I like woke up and I was like, what the fuck? And I like looked at Penny and his back was to me. So there was no way his hand could have touched my arm.
Yeah.
And then the second thing that happened in my house is I have this really long mantle with pictures put up kind of like dominoes, right? They're set up like dominoes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And it's late at night. And I was standing there waiting for the dogs to come in from outside. So I wasn't anywhere near the mantle. And all of a sudden, all of the pictures, except for the one in the front, smashed onto the ground all at the same time. And I literally went, what the fuck? Like wicked loud, super loud. And the weirdest part about all of it is my sister and her husband, they live downstairs and their bedroom is underneath that. They didn't hear anything. They didn't hear the commotion. Oh, wow. And my husband was in the other room and he didn't hear it, any of it. He didn't even hear me. Yeah. What the fuck? Like none of it. Yeah.
Crazy.
It was super weird. But the house that I grew up in was an oldie McOldie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird shit there too.
Yeah.
Love ghosts. What about you, Lynn?
Yes. Not in this house, but the one that we were in before this.
Mm-hmm.
And this was before I was married. So I was in my room. I was like trying to fall asleep. I wasn't asleep. There's nobody else in the room with me. And I was just like, laying with my eyes closed, almost asleep. And I heard this like deep man's voice say, wake up. And I, being me, turned around and went, oh, hell no. I'm trying to sleep here. And so that was fine. He left. Yeah. The next night I was asleep and and this one did kind of creep me out a little bit. Usually it doesn't faze me.
Right.
This one, I was dreaming. There was a woman in the dream and she was like almost frantic. She was like, Lynn, wake up. There's someone behind you. Wake up. And so I was like, I woke up and I'm like, like turn around. Nobody there.
All my long arms.
Yeah. I used to have like all kinds of stuff. And then I did like the house.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Lee, ghost stories?
I've had one thing. This house is 400 years old.
Right.
It's almost as old as me.
Well, I just genuinely don't know what it is, but it was enough to make me. I was actually sitting right here. And this strange, what sounded like a voice was just from over there, maybe 4 or 5 feet away. It sounded like someone, when you talk through helium.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like that, but it was inside the room. It was inside. This is the lounge. You can't see it, but it was literally. Well, the front door's just over there. It was enough to make me get out the fucking chair. What the fuck was that? Right?
Was it audible? Like, could you understand what it said?
Well, it sounded like a little child talking through helium, but I couldn't understand what it said because it was literally just a second or two. So I got out of the chair, and I thought, what the fuck was that? Right? Put my ear to the wall because there was at the time Des was next door. He was 89 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, is it his television or, like that? I couldn't hear anything next door. And I thought, well, that's strange. And then it happened again, but a shorter version. And it just sounded like some, like Pinky and Perky. Like,
nope.
The Pinky and Perky, the pigs. Okay. Well, it's like they were cartoon characters that sounded like they were talking on helium.
Okay.
sounded like some little child had got inhaled helium. Going,
Right.
Oh,
yeah, but and that was it. And,
yeah, it was Lulu.
Yeah,
It was
but
Lulu.
this house is so fucking old. I mean,
Yeah, and there is a
I don't
graveyard
know what's
behind your house.
Right,
going on
yeah.
in here. Maybe people have died in here. People are probably born in here where I'm sat.
I'm sure.
Just, you know, so
Yeah.
It's cool.
but it does. The house does generate noises, but because it's an old house,
Right.
Yeah.
you
So-
know, so it doesn't freak me out at all.
That's
but,
cool. My brother-in-law also, like a couple of days after the pictures fell, he came home from work and fell asleep on his like couch.
Mm.
And he thought my sister had come home, but all he said is he heard somebody get like really close to his face, and his name is Ralph. So he heard somebody really close to his face just go, Ralph, like wicked. And he like fucking woke up because he thought it was my sister and she wasn't home yet. And he didn't tell me forever. He didn't tell me. And then I didn't tell him. I told him about the pictures, but I didn't really like. I have a lot of like weird stories like that. I like.
No, I mean, no sort of great harm done, but it's that's the only thing. Yeah, it's just a little squeaky voice, but it was in the room. It was in the room.
That's
The telly wasn't on. You know, I couldn't, because normally I can hear his TV because it's so fucking loud because he can't hear properly. But that wasn't on. You know, it wasn't anyone coming. It was from inside the room. I know it was. So,
it's
but I fucking
the house. Oh, you want to hear something kind of funny?
Yes.
Okay, so the other place that we lived in, we had another ghost. It was not the one that was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It was like a friendlier ghost.
Okay.
And we called him George. I don't know why. That was just the name. So it was George the ghost. And before Bill moved in, and the kids would have experiences too. And like, you know, they don't like ghosts don't really faze me. And so my kids are pretty okay with them too.
Right,
just because we're just like, whatever. So they would have experiences with George too. And they'd be like, oh, George did this or George did that. And it was always kind of weird things that you couldn't explain. And so I remember when Bill first moved in, we were telling him about George the ghost. And we told him like these, and he was like, right.
Yeah. I imagine Bill doing that.
Yeah. He was like, okay. So one day I was like, all right, George, do something.
Yeah.
Like prove to him, you know, you can scare the crap out of him. It's okay. I don't mind. Like, it'll be funny. So nobody was home except for Bill. And in that house, the living room and the kitchen were kind of separated by like a little laundry room.
Okay.
That you could like walk through.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was sitting in the living room watching TV and nobody was home. And all of a sudden he hears the washing machine agitator, you know, like going. And he's like, I didn't put anything in there. He walks into the laundry room. The lid is up. It's turned off, but the agitator is moving. George.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I believe you now.
Bye. He walked in and he went, bye, George.
Yeah.
I think it's real. I think he's got it.
Yep.
All right, I believe you. There might be something here. I'm like, when my sister and I were kids, we used to scare the shit out of my mom because my sister and I we lived in the apartment that my great grandmother had lived in, and before she passed away, and we would just go up to my mother. We were little, and we would be like, "We saw Grammy," and my mother would be like, "I'm sorry, what?" And we'd be like, "Yeah, we saw Grammy. She was just like hanging out, walking through the kitchen," and I like it was nothing. And my mom was like, all right, a little therapy. Hello, therapy. My children are losing their shit. Yeah, that's it. That's the tale.
Yay, that was a good
Dear
one.
David. It was a medium one. Stop saying it was good.
It was good. The
No, it was good. It was good.
pictures were creepy.
I'll put put the pictures into the video if I can. So if you're listening to the podcast, then I'll put the links on our. I'll put the links.
Yeah.
And if you're watching the video,
We'll put them on our Instagram too.
Yeah, we'll post some of them. We'll post
On
it
Facebook.
Yeah, on our.
You'll see them. Okay, so here's what I think. The ones in the chair, I think look like a doll.
Yeah, I do
with
too.
part of its head
It
missing.
looks like a Chucky.
Yeah, like just some
fucking
doll
hell.
like with like the head like broken off.
Yeah.
But the one standing over him and the one that's right next to the camera, That looks like a scalp.
No, whack them up. Whack them up. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's weird.
it's all. Yeah, it's gross. I'll
Yeah,
tell
I'd
you.
like to see it. I'd like to see it. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like a ghost story? I mean,
Right, yeah.
I know.
know,
I will.
love the
I'll
ghosts.
we'll tell more.
Yeah,
I'll
well,
do some more. So, thanks for listening to the weird, very chopped up version of Dear David, because I did.
thank you to David.
No, it was great.
I did a medium job putting my story together, and then we got distracted by bagels. So we really did talk about bagels a lot this
Bagels
episode.
and animals.
This
Sorry.
episode brought to you by bagels.
This episode is brought to you
By
by Dunkin' Donuts.
by one lonely Dunkin' Donuts sugar packet that Lee still has. And two. So this thing has to live alone. It's sad Dunkin' Donuts sugar packet life all by itself, never
Yeah.
to be used for its purpose.
Right.
So thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging in there. And you know what I would love to hear is your ghost stories. So if anybody has any cool ghost stories or any like wacky, kooky, paranormal things that have happened to them, definitely like comment, send it to us on Facebook,
Yeah.
put like DM us on Instagram. That's what the kids say. Send us a DM. What is that? A direct message. That's what it means.
Danger Mouse.
Send us a danger mouse. Send us an email, twobroadsandabread@gmail.com. We'll check it maybe once a month. So good luck. And you know, it was like training. It was a good time. We had a good time had by all. So until next time, go right off and fuck yourselves. I like that it laughs every time.
That's fucking- That's the only reason I come on here every Sunday. Right. Right, I've had my feed. Now you can piss off. Right. Nice. Hang on, I'm just going to the bathroom for 3 minutes. Hang on.
3
I'm going to
minutes.
have a good hard think about that. Just on the vinegar strokes, Caitlin.
Oh. That's